All right. Hey, y'all. How's everybody doing?
Hey.
Doing great.
Lackluster. I'm glad you guys are doing okay.
We are well.
Okay. So today we are talking about COVID and how it has affected our daily lives. The theme for today's segment is A Different World. As we know, COVID has completely changed how we have conducted life. It's been about a year since it first hit here, and as like a little summary, Google told me that in the US alone, there have been 29.2 million cases of COVID and about 526,000 deaths. And so that is where we sit right now. And of course, it's only growing every single day. So my first question for you guys tonight is, what was it like when you first heard about COVID? Like, what was running through your mind when the news first started covering it?
Fear. Definitely a lot of fear and anxiety. I remember getting the call from my boss that night before and was like, so whatever, they're going to shut the schools down. And when you come on campus tomorrow, you got to go get a laptop, come to the office, get your stuff, and get out. I'm like, okay. He was like, but I can't tell you what he said, but that was pretty much the sum of it. And I'm just like, okay. And then, you're watching Larry Hogan and he's live every other day, and it's, you got to wear a mask, and it's, this is this, and it's that. And then, so fear, I remember being in the store and seeing people and just being really anxious. I literally had a full-blown panic attack. So it's like, definitely a lot of fear for me.
For me, it was surreal. It was like a real surreal moment. I can remember, I think our last Sunday in church was the second Sunday in March. And I remember it's like people were talking about it, but weren't really sure exactly how it would affect you and what way you could spread it. And I remember our message, we were talking about it in church. We're like, you know what? Don't shake anybody's hand. We hug time, that was gone. I remember telling everybody, man, listen, I'm not to shake your hand. You remember we were giving everybody like
the fist bump.
Right. And we weren't exactly sure what was going on. So Sunday in church, I'm still a little apprehensive. I don't exactly know what this COVID thing's about. But then on that the Monday or Tuesday, I went into work, and my job was like, yo, go home and don't come back. And that's when it started becoming real to me. And I remember turning on the TV one night, I was watching a basketball game, and the NBA shut down one of its games because one of the players, Rudy Gobert, contracted the virus. And at that point, I was like, I don't know exactly what this is, but it's got to be serious when you start talking about basketball shutting down.
Right.
I was telling you to go home. You start affecting people's money. That's when you really know it's real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I couldn't believe it. It was like I never thought that in my lifetime that I would experience something like this, where, you have to stay home and, be limited, can't be around your family, can't be around your friends, you can't even celebrate birthdays or have Christmas parties, Thanksgiving dinners. So for me, it was like, I just can't believe that, we are going through this, and like I said, in my lifetime, I never thought about this happening. I knew things were going to happen, but I just never thought nothing to this magnitude would happen, especially being out of church, for a year and can't really fellowship, with our church family and, with your friends and family. Even though people are getting a little more, free now.
Lackadaisical.
Yeah, right. They get a little lax now. But still, though, it's still serious out here.
It is.
So I just never thought that I would go through and experience this in my lifetime.
for myself, when I first heard about it, you know, I work for Social Security, right? So the day before, you know, it was just like traffic in there as normal. Everything was just fine. And then, you know, we get there the next day and my boss, and we got a new commissioner who was totally against telework. Like he wanted to stop the whole agency from teleworking. So we were teleworking before like a couple of days of pay period. And then he wanted to cut that completely off and did, right? And then it came back around with the coronavirus. And we were like, my boss was like, well, you know, get all your stuff and take it home because it doesn't look like you're going to be coming back anytime soon. So we were already equipped to work from home. But it was just like, okay, well, I mean, maybe this will just last. Like, I didn't think I would be here a year, you know, working from home. I was just like, well, and then, you know, the president at the time was really downplaying it. Like, it's just a cold, it's just a virus, and, you know, everything will be fine. And so, you know, I'm just like, okay, well, you know, I don't know how serious it is, but it must be serious if they're shutting us down and telling us to go home. So, you know, it was definitely kind of surreal for me, and it's been very real a whole year later. So, yeah.
I can 100% agree with like that sentiment. I feel like at school, we were all sitting in the Chem Lounge and we were talking about, is the school really going to shut down? This is SU. They don't like to shut us down for nothing. We'll probably be gone for like a day and we'll come back and everything will be fine. Because we were all like younger people don't suffer as much from it. So we were like, they're just going to leave us in school. Like, we'll be okay. And we were kind of just like brushing it off. There was like a little fear, but it wasn't that big of a deal to us. And then they gave us 2 weeks and we were like, 2 weeks, not 2 days? Okay. And then we never went back and it was insane. I don't know. So I agree. It's like very surreal, kind of frightening, but you know, a year later, we're still here. Thank you.
Amen.
Thank God.
Amen.
So now that there have been new developments, you know, it's been the year and there are vaccines out. What do you guys think about those? Would you get one? Would you not get one? Why?
I want to get it, but I actually want to get it, but because y'all, I'm allergic to everything. I'm probably allergic to myself. I'm allergic to a lot of things. I've had a lot of allergic reactions to medication, so it's not advised that I get it. So I'm kind of just waiting to see how, you know, things develop. You know, it's still pretty new, so maybe by summertime or like later, I'll be able to, you know, partake in it because I want to get it, you know, to protect myself and others. And but right now I can't get it, but you know, so.
Well, I'm fully vaccinated. It's no, my opinion is, I got it. Simple as that. I got it. I'm telling you the reason why, because, you know, when I talk to people, I talk to family, you know, I got other people's opinions, I talk to family, I listen to the news and all that. But for me, because, you know, just being real, I'm a heavyset guy, and, you know, I just want to make sure, and I do have some health concerns, so I just want to make sure that, hey, I did everything. If I did catch it or whatever that, I got something in my body that can help me fight against it. And it's just simple as that. And I'm trying to be here to see my children grow up. So, I mean, if I did leave here, it wouldn't be because I didn't try to prevent it. So I just wanted to, you know, get it. And I know it's new, I know it's fresh, but you got to look at it like this too. There has been other virus out here and they have created vaccinations for them, and our babies are getting them now. So, you know, that's where I was thinking about it. So, you know, and technology has come such a long way over these many, many, many years. You have very smart people that's coming up with this stuff. So that's why I went ahead and got it.
Well, I'm glad you got it. Like, as far as now, you know, someone that I know, like my age, that got it, how they, you know, that's cool.
So I mean, so for me, I'm a huge proponent of getting the vaccine. I was blessed and fortunate enough that I was able to get it. So I'm fully vaccinated, have both shots, and no real side effects from the first or the second shot. Just maybe like a sore arm, but other than that, I mean, everything was fine. So, I mean, I've been telling everybody, yo, get the vaccine.
Get it.
Members, friends, if you talk to me and the subject of COVID-19 vaccine comes up, I am going to highly encourage you to get it. And I mean, I'm like, yo, you need to get it. But what's interesting is I understand people's apprehensions, right? Especially people of color when it comes to vaccines. Because you look at the Tuskegee experiment.
Exactly.
People have concerns, but what I tell people, listen, history is real, so you shouldn't discount what happened. You shouldn't forget it, but science is also real too, right?
Absolutely.
And you can't discount that. And when I see, as Brianna just said, over 500,000 people have died in the United States. So I know what happened with COVID. And what's crazy is over 21 million cases of people that have it. And we still don't exactly know all the ramifications and long-term effects that one can get from COVID if you survive it. So I don't want anybody else to get COVID. So I'm prayerful that people will take it. I'm prayerful that people of color will take it, because we're so disproportionately affected, so much more than any other races. So my heart hurts when I looked about a week ago, I looked at the CDC reporting, and they said that out of all the people that have taken it, only about 7% of those individuals was Black. That hurt. And I just want people to, again, do your research. And at the end of the day, yo, go take it.
I want to, man.
That's yes.
Britt, I don't know.
I agree. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, but I don't know if it makes any difference, but I know Mom recently got the shot, and to make sure that her first dose, and to make sure that you're not having any intense allergic reactions or issues with the shot, they do make you sit there. So you get it, and then you sit. I think Mom said for like 30 minutes she got her shot, and she just sat so that they could like monitor her, make sure everything was okay. I don't know if that makes you feel any better, but I understand the allergy tip because I also have 1,000,004 of them. Girl.
Yes. And see, and not to take over, but I actually had COVID. So back in November, I'm a COVID survivor per my shirt, and so they were saying that the antibodies built up, are kind of protecting me. Maybe I would need to get both shots. Maybe I would just need to get one. So I'm doing, like Kenny said, Reverend Watson. Reverend Watson said, I'm doing the research as far as, trying to find out if any of, if those things are true. Because like you said, I don't want to sound like certain people have been, evil or about this whole entire sitting home, but I want to go back to some sense of normalcy. I want to be able to see people and actually hug people. I may become a hugger now because it's like you haven't been able to actually hug someone in so long. So I miss that. But yeah, I definitely want to get it. So I'm just gonna do some research and see how that goes out.
Yeah, I'm pro-vaccine. When it becomes available to me, I definitely plan on getting it. I like to travel and go places, and
we know.
Yes, you do.
I work directly with the public when we're actually going to be opening. So, and I also have MS. So, there's a lot of reasons why I do want to get the shots, and also because my family, they're a little bit reluctant, but if they see that I'm taking the initiative to get it so that I can help protect them and myself, then they'll be more like, okay, they'll feel better, they'll feel comfortable, about getting it. So I'm definitely pro-vaccine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So earlier we mentioned that we're missing this sense of normalcy in our lives. So I know it's been a little different to navigate our everyday lives since COVID has been here in the US. So what does that look like on the work front? Like, how has working changed for you? You know,
I telework, as you know, I telework. We were 100% teleworking up into from the start of COVID back in March until about summer. Then, you know, you had the option to still continue to telework. Because I work at a school, I miss my students, they miss me. So I do go on campus one day a week. But so I'm like, 80% teleworking, and it's different because It's different because, like I said, I work at a school. I don't get to see my students. You know, I used to have students that would come in and sit and, you know, talk, just, you know, and they enjoyed talking to me, and I enjoyed hearing them. I enjoyed the excitement of this, or even hearing about the one teacher that everyone hates. You know, not that, you know, you ever want to hear those things, but you miss those things. I miss those conversations because now everyone feels so isolated. You know, I even I have a phone, like a work phone, that they have the number they can call, but it's not the same. You know, I miss some of my coworkers. You know, I thank God that I'm in a position that whereby I actually like the people I work with. So I miss the office banter and the office cutting up with my, you know, I look forward to that eventually when they allow us to be great again. But until then, you know, we're making it work, right? I mean, gotta get that money, so you gotta still provide a service. So, you know, it's a different look, but we're managing.
And as far as work is concerned, you know, for us, myself, I've been 100% telework. So, and normally, you know, we do have a very large public, you know, population that comes through our doors every day. So it's very good that we're still able to be productive, right? And to still get the work done. But, you know, with us being in a relatively rural area, and then we do also have a lot of an older population, you know, sometimes they need help with, you know, filling out forms or whatever the situation is. And that's a service that we're not willing to provide, or we're not able to provide to them right now. So, you know, some people, you know, are feeling it a little bit more than others, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, we are able to get things done. So I'm grateful for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, quick question, like, with that being said, if hypothetically, right, they were to say everything's open back up again, everybody can go do what they want to do, would you immediately go back to work? Or
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. First of all, I've been home for a year now. It's gonna be a process to get back to that 40-hour work week in the office. As a matter of fact, I feel like I probably won't because, well, I guess I probably will, but, you know, I guess what'd you say?
You were just missing it 5 minutes ago.
I mean, I miss it, but I feel like there's a process. I've been home for a whole year, you know. I miss it, but I feel like I've been home, so I feel like now I gotta kind of ease back into that, you know. Plus, you know, I mean, even though the numbers are looking better, I saw some, you know, but it's not going. So, and I me being me, I would sit in fear. Everyone that came in the office, if you looked like you were sick, I'd be ready to like, get out. And you can't be that way when you work with people, but I know I would be that way. So I feel like it's best for me to be able to serve you from a distance so I can be the happy, jovial person that I am, as opposed to get out of my office, don't come in here and spraying people down, because you know, I got like 60 cans of Lysol, so I'm ready for anyone who comes around me. Like, so, Miosha, so you said you wouldn't go back, like right away?
No, not right away, because we don't have a cleaning person on staff, and you know, a lot of disabled people, you know, come to Social Security, so people are sick. People come to Social Security all the time. No, not this stays there all day. So, you know, I don't know how they're gonna, you know, maneuver that, because look, you've got to clean up and then you got to stay in this waiting area. So I don't know. I don't see how Social Security is going to be able to fully open up to the public and service people, you know, like we normally have. Things are going to be different, you know, when it opens up. But am I going to be running back to work? Absolutely not.
No me gusta. No me gusta.
I think the governor just talked about like opening up everything as this Friday, everything's back open.
I feel like he was talking about like stores and like restaurants. I don't know if he's talking about like jobs and stuff like that, because he knows that he's not going back to work like that. I mean, as a cancer survivor, he knows that he's not going to put himself at risk, him and Yumi or whatever her name is. So he needs to, I feel like we appreciated his ministry all, so far, but there needs to be, there's levels to that, I feel like. And I don't think that opening everything back up like they did in Texas is a smart idea, because I understand it's getting warm. Everybody's trying to have their hot girl, hot boy summers, but we trying to live to see fall and winter and then years to come without COVID, because we're not trying to do that. So I feel like there needs to be, not just boom, open it up. There needs to be like as I said, gradually.
Take it one day at a time.
One day at a time, sweet Jesus. One day at a time.
Yeah. For me though, I'm used to getting up every morning and getting me a cup of coffee and heading out the door. So for me being home every day, at first she was like, it was cool, because it's like something you weren't used to. But by week 3,
there you go. Get me out of here.
I got to get out.
You breaking out? I'm breaking out of this joint.
And the sad thing is, that's during that time you couldn't go nowhere.
Right. It's like you couldn't go nowhere, you know what I'm saying? And I'm used to being out, I'm used to going out working, 8 to 10 hour days and then coming back home, doing like that. So I'm used to, kind of having that time. But it was a lot. It can be a lot. And even now, I sometimes I got just to go out the house and take a walk or go for a ride or something like that, just to get some sense of normalcy, because I'm telling you, it's a lot. When you're a person that's used to, and I know Reverend Watkins can attest to that, used to getting up and going out, and then now you home every day, and then you got to make calls and talk to people and all that kind of stuff. It's just it can be a little stressful. But thank God, we're making it through it. We are. Yeah.
So just like work life, school life has also been altered due to COVID. So what are some ways that school life has been altered for you? Like, how has COVID affected your schooling, how you participate, things like that?
Being in school, I've done majority, about probably 90% of my degree online anyway. So it really hasn't affected me too much, because I'm just used to going to school online. Mm-hmm. It does because I'm working from home and and going to school at the same time. It has changed up my routine a little bit, because I can kind of maneuver from work to schoolwork, during the day now, instead of having to wait in the evening to do my work if I choose to, or I can kind of do a little bit during the day, so I can kind of mix it up. But I do say you have to be structured when it comes to being online. Even though I haven't been doing it for a long time, you have to be structured. So I literally at the beginning of each week, I list every assignment on a notebook.
Organization.
Everything I have to do for that week, but with the due date beside it, and I plan, and mentally I plan my week from that point. So, and as I get it completed, I cross it off, and that just helps keep me organized and on track with everything else I have going on. So. For me, yeah, but school's been cool for me. But I'm sure it's been kind of stressful for others who's not used to it. But thankfully, I'm used to. I'm used to it.
Others, Brianna, you're others.
That's me. So, inside scoop, in my opinion, COVID ruined everything for school. It's really funny because there's that saying where it's like you make plans and God just kind of laughs. And it was ironic because my friends and I, we have been talking about online school. I can't remember why we were talking about it, but like it was a couple weeks, maybe a month before like the pandemic was actually actually a real thing in the US. And we were all like, we could never. Online school is not for me. This is something I could never take part in. Like, what? How would anyone do it? I would never do this. And then a month later,
boom.
Into online schooling, not knowing what I was supposed to be doing, how to handle myself anymore, routine gone to heck. Like, it was very, very disrupting. And I feel like it's made it so I don't know, I feel like I've missed out on a lot of things that I would have normally been able to take part in, because Brianna Branch is a senior, okay? This is last year undergrad for her. So senior year is supposed to be like, the fun.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of events you can go to. There's like, houses on our campus where like, you can hang out, like the honors house or the fellowships house. So we can just like meet up with friends, talk, have pizza parties, and none of that. We have had absolutely none of that. And it's been so weird now that campus is open again to like show up and meet the people I've been seeing over Zoom. Like, hello, thank you so much for helping me with my postgraduate, applications. It's so nice to see that you have legs. I don't know. I feel like I got used to it though. Like Minister Gale said, I had to learn how to give myself structure and make lists. So I bought my agenda. I made sure that, I'm not going to say it was expensive, but it was more than I would usually pay for an agenda. That way I knew I would use it. I spent money on it. Right. And so I found that making checklists and having things that I could cross off, it really made the days a lot easier. And I've gotten acclimated to being at home. I think it's going to be weird when school starts back up in a space that I can be in person. Because you cut down on travel time. You can wake up at 8:57 for a 9 a.m. class.
Yes.
Now wait a minute.
Fun, a little head wrap.
8:57.
Yeah, and you're good to go. And
or you could even not even turn your camera on like some of my students do. They will be like, you'll be sitting there talking to a blank screen. It's like, is anyone there? Yeah, so
see, we don't do that anymore. Our teachers want us to feel like we're
in class
almost. So a lot of my teachers are like, I would really prefer if you have your camera and your microphone on the whole entire class period.
Oh wow!
Because if you were in person, you wouldn't be able to mute yourself. So it's
you can mute yourself in person, but I get what she's saying. You can just not talk,
Right. That's mute.
That is a mute. I mean, obviously you're there, but you're mute. Yeah.
I feel like it's also taken away from after college opportunities. I've been applying to grad schools and I've been accepted to some, and talking to thank you and talking to seniors before me, the ones that graduated before my year. They're the best part of applying to grad schools and internships is they fly you out and they try to woo you, and you get to spend a bunch of time in hotels. You get to experience new places, and all of my interviews were over Zoom. It was kind of just dull, just staring at each other over a camera, knowing we're both tired of looking at people through a screen. And so I feel like that's something else I missed out on, but it's all good. It is what it is. Yeah. Hopefully the world opens up back soon. I mean, I won't get those experiences back, but I'll be able to make new ones.
So. You definitely will.
Yeah.
And see, Bree, you start, I'm in my mid-30s, you're 20 now, you're early 20s now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you went right out of high school. See, I didn't start until I had a family and I was already working and going on. So you missed your experiences. You missed out on so much. When it's with me, I was just glad to find a school that would help me be able to work and and still get a degree and still support my family at the same time. So yeah, our experience is different. So I definitely understand why you're oh my God, this is just terrible. I do wish I did it kind of wish I did things a little different, but can't go back, change the past.
You're doing it now, and that's what matters.
That is what matters. I feel bad. I do. I felt so bad last year for students because they didn't get prom, they didn't get graduation, and like I said, I work at a school, and we have a big ceremony for our honors kids with the pomp and circumstance, and then we had to have it virtually, and it was like 100 some people on this video kind of like chat type thing, and it was nice for what it was, but it was a lot because you have this one's background and then this one's background and there's this one's the dog is barking and this is going on and that's going on. So it like I just feel bad. I felt bad for the class of 2020, and I guess I'm gonna have to feel bad for 2021 because are y'all gonna get graduation or?
From what I've heard, it's still up in the air. They said they'll let us know by April 15th if they're going to let us walk or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll stay hopeful.
Keep hope alive.
It could happen.
So, okay. We're all super involved in church, obviously. We're all here today. And so my first question is, how has the church experience changed for you? I know for me personally, it's a little hard for me to watch the church lives and the videos and stay engaged because you've been on a screen. Well, I have because of school, on a screen all week. And then for church, I have to stare at another screen. And so I don't know, I found that it's a little difficult to stay concentrated and engaged during the services, but I make it work. I was just wondering, what's it like for you guys?
It's hard. I mean, like you said, as a participant in the service, I'm on the praise team, I'm doing Youth for Truth, and these things that you would normally be in person for, like when we record, it's just, before the numbers and the COVID got really bad, we actually did go to the church. Minister Gail would be there and we'd be recording. It'd be about 3 or 4 of us, but you're trying to sing and get into it, and it's nobody in the sanctuary. It's literally the 4 singers, Brother Pender, Deaconess Watson Pender, and maybe that would be it. So it's hard. It's hard recording it. It's hard preparing for it. And then I'm like you, Brianna, watching it on the screen because again, we're working from home. It's like you try to stay engaged, but then my ADD kicks in and it's like, oh, the phone's ringing. Oh, someone's texting me. So then before you know it, it's like, wait, what? The service is over. So then I have to go back and watch it again. And then, so it's hard. I miss corporate worship. I miss the running. I miss people running around the church. I miss people shouting. I miss the walking across the pews. I need that. I miss it. I do. I miss it. That's where I'm at.
For myself, I agree with Brittany. I do miss being in church and actually being engaged, and praise and worship, was a part of my favorite, service. And people who's doing praise and worship, you do the best you can with the circumstances that you have. But the reality is that it's not the same. We're just navigating this the best that we can. It's the reality of it. So, I'm just glad that we are still able to do it and then still, be engaged. And if you don't catch something, you can always go back and watch it. So, that's another good part of it as well. So do I miss it? Absolutely. But I am grateful that we do have, a way that we can still participate.
And for me, you talk about praise and worship, and as the praise and worship leader of the church, I
amen corner. We get amen corner.
Right. I truly miss it because that was my time of everything that I went through that week. That moment was where I would just let God just have it. It's just so it was just my release moment, so definitely, and worship and ministering to people and, just using my gifts, and so I really truly miss it. But on top of that, And Reverend Kenny can be a witness to this. When you have to stand in a pulpit, and he's done it many more times than I have, but I've done it, and to preach to empty pews when you're recording your sermon, I mean, you really have to kind of like get your mind in a place where it's like you just see people, or you just kind of psych yourself up, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to put yourself in a place where, I'm going to give it. You just got to psych yourself up. And you're going to give it your all, no matter, because, the people are not in the sanctuary, but they're watching you. So you just have to be conscious of that. And you don't want to give them any less than what you would give those that would be sitting in the pews if they were sitting in the pews. You don't want to give them no less. So that has been, a challenge, but it's been a year now, so you get used to things. Yeah. So, but about the church experience, I miss worship. I miss the corporate worship. I miss, how the Holy Spirit we could be going one way and then the Holy Spirit just shift. And before you know it, it'd be a totally different experience, So yeah, I do miss corporate worship, but I thank God, and I'm going to close with this, is that I do have some part of it because I do, I play for another church. So, and we do live on Sunday morning. So I still get a little bit of that. But there's no place like your, home church when you do it, but I still get participate and, do singing and stuff like that. But it's not the same when you have your praise team and you have, Stephen behind you, pushing you with the organ and, the people pushing you. It's just not the same. So I definitely miss our corporate worship. I'm sorry. I'm going a long way.
You miss it. We miss it. Yeah, it's all right. We miss it.
I definitely miss it. Yeah.
For me, I guess to answer your first question about like how is the experience different, I guess first I'll tackle that from me being like maybe preaching, as Reverend Gayle alluded to. There's been times where I've recorded where it's just been me and the person recording me. That's very challenging. Because the traditions of a Black church is call and response.
Yes.
You're preaching and you're hearing back from your congregation. You can kind of sense from the congregation when something is feeling really good to them. And to the opposite, you can kind of feel when, okay, what I'm saying they're not really getting, and you can potentially in another direction. When you're recording, you can't get any of that. Same way with Bible study. Teaching Bible study in a building is much different because you're getting a response from the people. When you do it virtually, it's just you and God.
You get the hearts and the thumbs up though.
You do get that, but it's still challenging, and that's why I felt myself being very intentional with every word that I say. Because I was looking at another prominent Black church, and they were talking about their virtual experience, and they had data that supported that their average viewer only tuned in for 27 minutes. So that's why I'm very cognizant of the amount of time that I take, because I want to make sure that the information is good, it's intentional, because people. They will lose attention quickly.
Yes.
They lose attention. Their attention span is short when they're there in person. So you can imagine what it is when they're multitasking, trying to watch a service virtually. As far as my experience in watching it, I have to get out of the habit of treating our service like a streaming site. For instance, like Netflix. I watch a lot of Netflix, but I can watch Netflix whenever I want. And unfortunately, it's kind of like that with the service too, right? You can kind of check in whenever you want. And I've tried to stop doing that. And I've tried to become like what Brianna and Reverend Gayle were saying. I've tried to develop a schedule for myself. and try to make sure on Sunday I'm up early. I'm listening to Sunday school, and then I'm right there at 10 o'clock, and I'm ready for worship. You guys also mentioned what you miss. I miss it, but I don't really miss it. And
Clutches invisible pearls.
but here's what, because this is real talk, right?
Real
That's
talk.
what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
Now I say
Talk
that
about it.
I love God. I love church.
Yes.
Right? God has blessed me beyond measure. I owe him everything. But this pandemic has taught me a couple of things. And one of the things that it has certainly taught me, there is a lot going on at church that we don't really need. I can't speak for you. I can't speak for everybody else. But I know as far as me, I know without a shadow of a doubt, there are some things in church that we don't need. And the black church is kind of like or church in general, specifically black church is what I've been raised in. We do a lot of things just out of habit, and certain things we really haven't evolved at. And this pandemic is going to teach us the importance of being flexible, because people keep on alluding to they want normalcy back. Normalcy isn't going to come back. The way we used to do church, if we want to stay relevant, we're not going to be able to do church like that anymore. I mean, some churches will make the attempt to continue to do that, but I'm always trying to think about what we need to do kind of differently. And I really believe that there's a lot of excess fat that we could cut out and get rid of, some things that aren't necessarily good for us. This pandemic has also taught me balance. It's taught me to prioritize my mental health, my physical health, my emotional health. I just don't know if we're ministering efficiently and effectively when we have to be in a meeting at church every night. That's just not creating the proper balance for me.
Now that I can agree with.
If I have to be in church every night of the week, when this virtual space and these platforms can allow us to reach more people and reach them more effectively. We were having 2 services, and we were often going to church in the afternoon. Y'all, that afternoon church is not my ministry anymore. It's going to be
real talk.
This is real talk. It's going to be extremely challenging to get people to come back to church.
Yes, it is.
On a Sunday morning.
Or
Yet alone
coming back.
A Sunday afternoon. And
a Sunday afternoon usher day.
Because it's taught me, it's taught me again to prioritize my life, and God is always first.
Absolutely.
But also it's teaching me balance, and we can get things accomplished smarter and more efficiently than what we are currently doing. And I really hope that we as a people, a church body, will realize that this pandemic should have taught us that there are ways in which we can minister more effectively than what we're doing. Because church people ain't gonna kill me. I've made up in my mind.
I know that's right.
That's not going to happen. Family's important, and I have to create more of a balance. So that has certainly taught me that not to be too long But again,
you long?
I've learned this pandemic has taught me what I don't miss about church.
And I wasn't gonna say that. I wasn't gonna be the one to say that. But since you said I was thinking it, but you said it. But yeah, it's taught me there are some people, everywhere that you're just like, you know what? We thank God for social distance. We thank God for it. And there are some things that you're glad that you don't have to be a part of now. And like you said, church people aren't gonna kill me, and church people aren't gonna, upset me, because that can happen too. So I definitely can,
Yeah, this is an opportunity for collectively all of us as a church, to become more connected. Right. If there was a time that we should be more connected, it is now. Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, through Facebook and all the other mediums we have, we shouldn't have a problem with being connected with each other. That can no longer be the excuse of in my opinion, of being connected. Because at the end of the day, people are going to do what they want to do. And so I mean, yeah, I could talk on and on about that. But
we have some opposition.
I agree to disagree only because our church is a very traditional church. And, there's a lot of older members. And for a lot of our older members, like the only time that they look forward to getting out is to going to church and seeing everybody. So, social media and stuff is great for, millennials and other people who are, social savvy. But for somebody's 99-year-old grandma or 85-year-old aunt or whatever, they look forward to putting their church hat on and their suit on and strutting in church and waving their little handkerchief or whatever the situation may be. So I just to play devil's advocate a little bit, some people probably do miss it, but I completely understand what you're saying.
No, absolutely, people miss it. When I talked about staying connected, not in the sense of going to the worship service on Sunday morning. I mean, yeah, I didn't mean connected that way. Of course, there's going to be people that want to go. Okay. I want to go back to church. Don't get me wrong. I want to go back, but I want us to go back. I want us to go back safely, right? That's absolutely the priority. So yes, you are right. There is a generation that want to get back into the building, but there's also individuals in the church where it's going to be extremely difficult to get them out off of their couch, get in their car, drive to our parking lot, get out of their car,
all them steps,
come into the church,
sit through service.
And Lord, don't let it rain.
Because they don't do that now.
It's going to be a challenge, and the church has to
now. So when we reopen, I agree.
I feel like
prepare for that.
I feel like that first Sunday when church reopens, everybody's gonna want to go back because Lord knows I'm looking forward to it. I need that service. I joke about it with one of my friends, and she's like, we wearing pants because we acting up that first service because it's been a year. But then after that, I feel like Reverend Watson said, I feel like people are now. You can get up and you can have your coffee at home and you can sit on your couch or sit wherever and you can have service. And then and then at the end of the day, I feel like this pandemic has taught us that we have to be the church for ourselves. We can't go to church, especially a church the size of ours. We can't come together. So you have to have those moments with God yourself. You have to stir up the gift in you. You have to figure out what it is that's going to get you, how are you going to spend some time with God every day, or what are you going to do? Because you can't say, oh, well, I went to church. No, you didn't. The church is closed. So I feel like the pandemic was, it has taught us that. And now that some of us are doing that, it's like, now I actually I don't have I have a relationship. I don't have a religion because now I have, I had a religion, but now I have a relationship. So
is everybody coming back? If church opens tomorrow, you coming back in the building?
Tomorrow is Wednesday.
Not if it opens tomorrow. Wait, probably not.
This Sunday.
No,
that's like tomorrow. So no.
Yeah, we need some proper precautions and measures that they can.
I feel because I went to the church for a funeral. I had to sing at a funeral, and then they had to take my temperature. I had to sign a form, and then I was waiting out there, and then they couldn't get my temperature right. They were saying my temperature was like 90.0. I'm like, well, that means I'm like dead, right? So I'm like, I don't think that's correct. So then I'm like, if they have to do that for everyone, people aren't going to want to come. So no, I feel like right now what we do is effective and
Safe.
Well, that's
Safe.
definitely gonna be a part. Well, that's definitely gonna be a part of the process when we come back to church.
And see that, like, it was a whole waiver. It was the whole gun. I hate that gun at your head. It's just a lot. It was really hectic. So I feel like for right now, I love it. I miss it. Lord knows I do. I miss seeing people, but it's enough for me.
So you guys talked about so how do you think we can stay connected? How do you think we should stay connected?
Like what we're doing now. This is a way to stay connected. I feel like FBC. I think we've done this really well as far as I text Pastor all the time and just tell him, you have gone above and beyond the call of duty in this pandemic. Trying to stay connected with your afternoon inspirations on Facebook with the different programs that have come out of this. So I feel like, if people, the material's out there, if you want it, but it's if you want it, you have to want it. So, yeah.
And I tell you what I do like about it, about this is that, and we mentioned this earlier, is the fact that if we do miss something, we can always go back and hear that message or hear that Bible study, and, especially if you're a note taker, you can go back and hear it again. And I think that as when we do go back to church, gradually go back to church, that's going to be something that, we're going to, Facebook Live and YouTube and all that stuff is not going to change. We're still going to do that. So I'm grateful that this pandemic has opened that door for us to really catch up, because some churches were already doing it.
Right.
But it's for really to catch up and to do that. So, hey, we have a crazy service in church. We can always go back on that Tuesday or that Wednesday
and be yes,
and experience all over again,
baby.
So I really do like that. I really do like that. We can do that.
So overall, I don't know. I feel like the general gist that I'm getting from this conversation is that COVID, it was this life-altering experience. It has come with some negatives, but it has also come with a lot of positives. Absolutely. You know what I mean? It seems weird to say, but COVID was almost kind of like a gift from God, of course, not the deaths and not all the bad things that have happened, but we've learned to love ourselves a little bit more. Like Britt mentioned, we have relationships with God now. It's not just a religion. It's not just you saying, oh, I'm a Christian, and never expressing it or really being in touch with what that really means to you. Mm-hmm. And so, throughout the bad, there has been some good, and I think that's really beautiful.
And don't forget those of us that get the stimmies, because I'm back to where the money resides. You know what I'm saying?
That's another good that we can check off. That we
appreciate that ministry. And the student loan, people who get student loans, they delayed that. So
because God is a good God, they put a pause.
You better come on.
He's a great God.
Yes.
My God.
Yes. So
that's silly.
The last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, a little lighthearted in the meeting sort of note, is Coming to America 2. I personally have not seen it, so I would just love to hear if any of you guys have seen it. What'd you think of it? Was it good? Should I watch it? Am I missing out?
I feel like you need to watch it. I feel like Coming to America 2 will be for the next generation. Will come into America. The first one was for us watching it. Obviously, there's going to be some people who say, "Oh, it's not this, it's not that." I loved it. I've watched it twice, and and I'm probably going to watch it again. I'm a rewatcher. I love the costumes. Oh God, so beautiful. It literally makes me want to go to the moon to Earth, even if is that a real place? I don't know. I feel like I want to just be there because the costumes were so beautiful, and I loved it. I thought it was funny. I loved how Eddie Murphy gave everybody, brought everybody back. I feel like he was just being solid and loyal to all the original cast. So we stand with him. So I'm here for it.
I always enjoy seeing us African American people in the light of royalty. that's what I enjoyed about the movie. You know, they were royalty. You know, and it was, you know, and they were a big family, and I just liked how he laid the movie out. I like how he referenced the old movie, but he also brought in the new culture, the 21st century. You know, but I just like seeing us as a people and royalty. You know, so many negative things have been spoken and are spoken about us as a people. But when you see a movie, and I also like the fact that it was filmed in Black Dome Studios and Rick Ross's house. You know, our people, you know what I'm saying? It was, yes. I like that too. And I celebrate that, you know what I'm saying? I don't hate it. I celebrate it, you know, because, you know, we have a lot to be thankful for as a people, you know? So I just appreciate that, what he did with that.
I liked it. I think it's hard to compare it to the first one.
Yeah.
I think it'll fall short compared to the first one, but Standing Alone, I thought it was really good. I was watching it, and I was like, oh my goodness, my part hasn't come. Where's my guy at? I can't believe this. They're gonna have the first movie without him. And then the last scene, my boy came on stage, Randy Watson, in his band. I mean, that was it had me right there. So.
It was the highlight. That was the highlight.
That was the pinnacle.
Yeah.
For myself, I just appreciated that the movie had so much Black excellence in it. Mm-hmm. I mean, you had Tiana Taylor, you had Morgan Freeman, Wesley Snipes. I mean, there was what's her name? We're leaving. What's the lady name?
Aretha Franklin.
Gladys Knight. I mean, it was just so star-studded, and I was just like, it was just so much Black excellence in that movie that I really appreciated, and how he referenced like so much of the original Coming to America in this movie, even down to the girls that was rapping at the table. They came out, you know,
the sisters.
So
yes,
I was a fan. I'm a fan of the original one, and I like that it was just so cohesive, I guess is what that is. So I enjoyed it.
So Nana, make sure you watch it.
I was gonna say, so what I'm hearing is that
watch both of them. Watch the first one and the second.
I've seen the first one. Let's not do that.
Because you like 12, 13. I didn't know if you watched.
Let's not do that. We got the DVD and everything. Let's not do that. DVD, you know what it is. Okay, guys, thank you so much for engaging in some real talk today. I feel like we had like a really great conversation.
I feel like it did. It was awesome. It's always nice to talk to you all.
Yes, lovely to see your faces. A great way to stay connected as well.
Yes.
All right.